Should we get started? Does that work for you guys? All right, we have just 3 groups. So for starters, good discussions. Did you guys all feel like you had a good discussion? Did you like this format where we split the first half of it? Felt a little different, interactive? Okay, I think we're gonna do this next time as well, probably. So who felt like they had something really that was a revelation that came out of the conversation already? Or maybe even a really great reminder of something that you already knew? Nothing earth-shattering? Okay, so there had to be at least a great reminder. Kara, you go first and then Marissa.
I don't want to talk into the mic though. Can I just yell?
Yeah, you have to.
Our group did.
Sounds great.
Does it? We talked about the silos and how they equate to relationships that are working, and it's more of an excuse to like place the blame on something or not bring to light what we need to take responsibility for. And I really thought that because we use that word out here sometimes, and I think that I catch myself even sometimes saying like, we don't want to make a silo decision, and I think that taking that buzzword out of it and just hitting it head on with like what we need to discuss to make sure we're not using excuses.
One of our takeaways. Okay, one of our takeaways.
See, I wasn't doing
Okay. Certain enlightened leaders, they realize that they cannot change the culture but influence the environment, and in doing so they create an environment where people want to be engaged and take ownership.
All right, so now how about this group? We'll have you guys share one. Where did you spend your time at today? What did you learn today? Brittany's got this.
Ours was what Marissa just stated. That's where we spent the most time talking, was about how leaders can create the environment and how it has that ripple effect on their teams. And I think we could probably all think of when that's happened really well and when it hasn't. And something else we liked right along those lines was the table, the leader impact table, and the challenge at the end of the chapter to try and pick one thing on that table to improve. And Tammy had a really good example.
So the one that I picked was to be more present, so the not multitasking. And what we talked about is I'm also doing that at home as well.
And it's working.
It is working. So I've actually shut all the alerts off on my phone, which caused me great anxiety for about a week. And now I kind of forget at night that I have a cell phone, so it's right 10 minutes. But it's been a good change to be more present.
Good deal. Progress. Okay, so let's talk about environment for a minute. So, like, as an example, coming from any of you, whether you're in a leadership role or not, what types of things can you do to cause the environment to be better? Less full of drama. Remembering that we're all a little bit drama, right?
I think it kind of depends on what you lean to and what your personality is, but if an area feels void of communication and you notice it and recognize it, the part where it talks about that change really starts with your own behavior. If I was in a group where no one got up to go speak to each other ever, I would feel highly conflicted, and I'd probably be the very first person to go over and maybe start a conversation with a group of people. Just sort of your own actions are the things that create change, and I think that's what I would try to hold myself accountable to.
So in that example, one of these previous sessions we talked about action, activity, like that's a thing that she would do. That would be a thing that would provide leadership to the people around her. and create a better environment by engaging in a conversation. Assuming that there's never conversations happening, then engaging in one would be a good thing, right? So action is leadership. Disaction, no action is not leadership, unless you're specifically not taking an action because that's your leadership decision. But that is an action. You decided to not take action. So just wanted to acknowledge again that action is leadership. So doing something is better than doing nothing when it comes to providing leadership. What else? From Marissa has one here. She gets to talk in the mic again.
Myself. They mentioned at the bottom of 123 that you can take ownership of your relationships and you can take personal responsibility for making them work. I think that works in both the leadership role and as just an individual contributor.
Yeah, pretty self-explanatory. So give you a moment, if you're a person who doesn't focus on relationships a lot, to think for a moment about how you could walk out of here and take at least one step forward in a relationship with someone. That could be doing what Brittany suggested or something else altogether, just engaging someone in a conversation, recognizing someone, helping out, whatever that looks like. So especially if you're not that person, I'm just going to give you a few seconds to think about, one, is that you? And two, who might you take some even micro action toward, throwing them a bone, like showing them that you care enough to insert yourself into their relationship bubble. All right, Casey. Careful, it's hot.
See what you mean. On page 124, that kind of goes along with this relationship stuff. Towards the top, in the middle of the first paragraph, it says, the majority of your relationships with other people involve how you think about them in their absence and how you process information about them when you're with them. The stories you tell yourself about the people in your life affect your relationship with them. And I hadn't ever really thought about it like that, like when you're not with them, like how do you think about those people? And that taints how you are when you're with them. And sometimes our thoughts are more powerful than we think, and the way we deal with people sometimes just kind of changing that will make a big impact on your relationships too.
Yeah, so interestingly, like thoughts are the things that happen right before actions. And that's kind of what you were describing there, is that your thoughts, whether away or present, are both causing you to take actions, because it is your thought that makes you feel like you have a conviction or a feeling about something that would cause an action. I alluded to this earlier. I saw a really great speaker. It was a very targeted presentation, but it was on managing thought. And it was really, really interesting. It got to be a little much because it was like a 3-hour thing and it was all about managing thought. So it was like brain warped when it was done. But that's where, she was talking about how your brain is functioning and getting into that side of it a little bit as well. But just acknowledging that you can control your thoughts, and so much is going to happen based on what your thoughts are. I've heard other people say garbage in, garbage out. If you're putting garbage in your thoughts, then you're going to have bad thoughts. If you're putting good stuff in, kind of works the same way with food, right? So, all those things are pretty relevant. Just keep those things in mind.
Is it a podcast or what? Can you share it?
I might be able to share it. I have a book on it at a minimum, and maybe there's more out there. I'll think of who it is. Managing Thought, though, I think is the book, but I don't remember her name. It's been a few years, but I have it. I'll get it for you. Yep. Sarah.
In our group, I liked
a discussion that we had on page 133, where the quote talks about my classic misfits stopped acting like survival of the fittest. It became more aligned as a single force, and this helped them survive together as one team. I share this because I really liked Jim's contribution to our team discussion around how he said when he was in the Army, they would do their 6-mile runs, and if one person fell back, the entire group of 65 people would turn around and run back with that group, and they do that the entire way. So I think that that's something that a lot of us can take in, as I know we can get busy with our projects in our day-to-day to just kind of take a check on how your team's doing, where are they, does someone need support, and how can you help as a team rather than focusing on your own work.
How did you say that in the beginning? Like the survival of the fittest versus, what did you say?
Survival of the fittest versus working together as a single force.
Yeah, I think that feels close to what I've talked about several times here and a lot of other places, and just the idea that team is so important, and that over the long run, team players, which we've seen tons of like moving around inside the company over the years, and that's because people are moving around and filling company needs with the talents they have to offer at the right time, and then we move around again. But that change and that movement is really hard for a lot of people, and people who are solid team players do that well always, it seems like. But in an environment where it's not survival of the fittest, then it's a lot easier for those that don't naturally do it quite as well. So just, that's something we want to protect, I guess is what I'm saying. We've created it here. We want to keep getting better and hone that, but protect it at a minimum, and because we currently have something that's better than a lot of places when it comes to that. So let's protect it, and it also allows us to be fast, nimble, and do who knows what. We can do a lot more things when we have that mindset. It feels safe to move around, take risks, and those kinds of things.
I like the example of scaffolding analogy. You said that the environment is the scaffolding on which the culture hangs. I guess that's just physical environment, but also psychological environment. It was a good analogy.
Yeah, it's so close to the team concept, the environment concept, and I'll say it again, that's an area we have to protect. It feels kind of the same, but it is different. The team aspect is different than the environment aspect, because environment really, in my opinion, could feel different for Kara than Quentin. It can feel different even though it's the same, because we all respond to the environment differently. So it would be easy to overlook environment. It could be complicated. Like, environment can be complicated because environment's creating thoughts are creating actions, and the environment could be the physical space as pointed out, or it could be your team members, it could be your manager, or a chair, I think, as they pointed out in one of these. It could be something that simple, and I've seen all of those things, as you guys all have, so this is an area, team and environment, where everybody can pitch in. We're all part of it, and it's a really grassroots way for everyone to contribute in the environment and team aspect. What did you guys choose, either as individuals, probably this is an individual thing, in that chart, I don't remember which page it's on, one of the action items here. of the negative impact and positive impact on the 131. Yeah, thank you. Who wants to talk about their thoughts on one of those? I'll share one quick to get us started. There's one in here on reward systems create competitiveness or reward on team efforts. And that's one that over the years, you know, this is why we have a team of salespeople that is not a commissioned team of salespeople. And it's had a high level of scrutiny. We've had to pass up on what some might think are high caliber salespeople, but they're high caliber commissioned salespeople. And if they don't want to be in this environment, then this isn't the environment for them, right? Like, what I knew I didn't want was that environment in a company that I was building. And it felt like it was necessary to a lot of people that I talked to, but I just wasn't gonna have it because it's toxic, and I've seen it be toxic in many companies. And so again, that's like a critical foundational thing here. We're talking environment, team. This is another one. Like, don't expect us to go to a commission sales approach under my leadership, basically, is what I'm trying to say there. So who else has one? And you know, if it's a strong conviction, like that's a conviction I have. I absolutely don't want that. If I have to have that, I'm gonna have to get like some new information. Brittany.
I think a conviction I would have, something that resonated with me on this was keeping promises. So when I know I'm responsible for something to someone, I like to post it publicly, whether it's a space that we share within Edison or within an email or something. I try to state what I'm going to do, and that provides a high level of accountability just for me internally. So that's something that I've tried doing for a while.
Yeah. Sounds like we only had a couple people who were struggling with the making too many promises, or at least only a couple that were really willing to raise their hands anyway. Okay, we have about 5 minutes left, so I'm just gonna ask, is there anything else that sparked up a really good conversation that you feel like is a key takeaway that everyone should hear before we finish? And then let's rattle off a few key takeaways.
I'll say something for Kirsten. Kirsten says she saw us too much, so. I'm just really not a night person. We talked about when the fingers start pointing, it's an indicator to look at the environment and leadership. I think it's the environment first and then looking at leadership. Just really bringing to light when something sends a sister or buzz around, to take a step back and look at what's going on, full picture, and just looking at it in a very direct situation.
Agreed. So what if that's like one of my direct reports and you're thinking, he must know, he's going to address this, right? Still, like, when's the right time? And I would just, for most of you, I would say I would ask if you could try to step that up at least one step, because I think it's usually those moments that are defining and they cause action, and that action is a discussion. It doesn't necessarily mean change. Like, in the person that brought it to me might think this needs to happen, but what does happen is something happens, communication happens, discussion happens, we figure something out as a result of it. So it's just another thing I would ask you for. Call it foundational. I like to hear when there are concerns, because what I am is I'm a quick conduit to a discussion that will get us on the same page, hopefully in a safe environment. That's my approach anyway, whether true or not at all times. I mean, sometimes situations are very difficult and other times it's not that difficult, but I go into it thinking calm, safe, unjudgmental. There's two sides of the story at least. Let's have a discussion. with a goal of walking out of here, getting more aligned and having a better workplace because of this discussion. So thanks for that. So key takeaways: 1, you guys liked the group session, so we'll do that again next time. 2, we can wrap this in. Do I have a volunteer? Jamie's writing this down. Maybe she'll volunteer. Okay, good. Okay, so that's 1. We're gonna do the group discussion next time. While we're at it, let's finish the book. The next section that I had highlighted is pretty thin in my opinion, so we'll just finish it for next time. And then I highlighted some foundational things about ClickStop, team in particular, and the idea that we are trying to create this environmental stuff that we're doing here is on purpose. I'm not sure how you say all that, but something around team and environment that we can come back to and discuss in our last session. I think we'll be able to take it from there. And we reiterated that leadership is action. It's not inaction. However, it could be no action. That actually works.
Can I ask a question about that?
Sure.
I'm not making assumptions here, but if a leader just was flippant and decided not to take action, couldn't they use "I took no action" as an excuse?
Once in a while, yeah. Every once in a while. Yep. What else? Any takeaways? Any other takeaways? Marissa likes the mic, so does Kara.
It's important that people know that about us.
All right. Well, good. Love the book, love the topic. We're beating it up pretty hard here, but we'll wrap it up next time with the last section, and then we'll have the 26th where we'll just come back and rehash everything, just have a little discussion, try to come up with some idea to make it fun. I don't know what we can do, but let's have fun, but let's talk about the concept of all these no drama leadership things, and it probably will be fun just because it will be rapid fire of the whole book, and we'll cover all our key takeaways. So all right, thanks everybody, have a good day.